Jesus comes out against the death penalty multiple times.
Yes.
Never mentioned. I mean, in the sermon, and you say that like, where does Jesus ever come out against the death penalty? The Sermon on the Mount, the freaking Beatitudes. He stops an execution and says only sinless people can execute. I mean, the Bible is not against abortion. God says life begins with first breath in Genesis. God makes it very clear that a woman has more value to him than a fetus in Exodus. God gives Moses gruesome tips on how to terminate a pregnancy if your wife's pregnant by another man in Numbers chapter 5. And if you think God really cares about the lives of children, let me tell you right-wing children about Passover sometime. I mean, Democrats can seize this narrative back and they can take and the great thing about the Bible is, I always say, there's not a lot of facts, there is a lot of truth. And you don't need to believe the Bible as literal fact to use it against these false Christians. It's sort of what got Jesus killed. He used the Bible against the revoltingly fake, pious, religious conservatives of his day, and they got him set up. But I mean, the Democrats are going to keep on taking a beat. I'm not saying you're going to pull people out of the matrix. I'm saying you'll inspire other people to show up, because they always say the largest growing religious group in this country are Mormons. No, the largest growing religious group are people who were raised religious but now consider themselves spiritual because they're tired of the hypocrisy their parents were raised with, that their parents hung on to. And you can have a spiritual life without embracing bullshit fundamentalist right-wing religion. And by the way, it's all fundamental. The fundamentalist Christians and the fundamentalist Muslims are the same group.
You could throw Jews in there.
And fundamentalist Jews, fundamentalist Hindus, fundamentalist Christians have more in common with fundamentalist Muslims than they do with liberal Christians, because the fundamentalists are the ones who think women second-class citizens, sex bad, gay bad, violence okay if my side does it, and other religions are allowed to exist, but mine is superior. Oh, and by the way, I'm the victim all the time, no matter what. Jesus didn't play victim on his worst freaking day. But these fundamentalists that ruin Islam, that ruin Judaism, that ruin Christianity, they're the bad guys. And a smart political party won't be afraid to take on religious hypocrites. You can be pro-faith and anti-hypocrite douchebag.
Yeah.
And I keep waiting for the Democrats to realize it's right there. You can take it and seize the narrative.
Yeah. I actually like the way Bernie always sort of handled the religion aspect of things.
Always.
Because yeah, he always took it as a very secular, but yet a part of who he was. It was never a big deal that he was Jewish. Like that wasn't part of it really wasn't part of the narrative.
Bernie Sanders is more Christian than all these right-wing Christians. I mean, they tell me Bernie can't win because he's a Jewish socialist. I'm like, we celebrate the birthday of a Jewish socialist every December 25th. We take the damn day off.
But have you ever see there's a speech that he gave at Liberty University that was amazing. Yeah. And it was really poignant. And the truth is, like, I went to a lot of Catholic schools. Like I went to Catholic law school, I went to Catholic hospital. Like my son went to Catholic high school. I'm Jewish, but I know enough about the Catholic.
Unlike Liberty, those are real schools.
I know, and I like nuns, and I do, and so. But there is this huge hypocrisy because the people that I've met that are truly religious people, are pro-life, but they don't want to legislate it. They don't fight to have it. I have a lot of friends that are pro-life, but it isn't something they think government should be involved in. And the other thing, most of those people are also against the death penalty.
Well, you know, Jerry Falwell. Segregationist, started Liberty University. I debated him once on Bill Maher, and he was bragging he was pro-life. And I said, yeah, but you support the death penalty, so you're pro-some life. And, you know, that's a fake school. I mean, it's founded, but he supported apartheid in the 80s and told Americans to buy Cougarans because Desmond Tutu was a phony. And the Democrats can't call this shit out. They can't call out. I mean, Jerry Falwell Jr. even admitted finally what a revoltingly fake Christian he was. He was like the rest of them, just in it for the money. Falwell finally told the truth about one thing. And it's like the Democrats are going to keep on losing and losing these things. And it's like, I tell my atheist friends, and some of the best Christians I know are atheists, and some of the most godless heathens I know are believers. But you don't have to believe it all to not let Republicans use it. I'm in the camouflage removal business. And this spiritual camouflage has to be torn off these motherfuckers because they don't know anything about Jesus. Their Messiah is a racist landlord from Queens.
I have always maintained, and I've maintained it probably for at least a generation now, the biggest problem with the Democratic Party is that they have been co-opted by Wall Street. The biggest problem with the GOP is they have been co-opted by the evangelical right.
And Wall Street. And
Wall Street.
Right. They have the twofer.
Yes.
They have the twofer.
But if you look at, to me, the scariest thing was not Donald Trump being president. It was Mike Pence being vice president.
I agree.
When you have a true believer like that, he's
not a true believer. He's not. And this is the media's fault. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I get crazy when I hear Mike Pence called a Christian, because when I grew up, you guys know, you watch the news, even to this day, you have either believers, you have either right-wing fundamentalists or atheists. And that's the binary choice you're given. You're either a non-believer or you're a douchebag screaming at women outside clinics. When Mike Pence had his religious freedom law, no one ever, no one in the media ever said, where in your holy book does Jesus command you to drive the gay wedding cakes out of the temple? Like, you want to say that you get to discriminate against LGBT tax-paying citizens because of your religious beliefs. First off, okay, Rastafarians, step the fuck up. But beyond that, if you want to say that you get to discriminate because of your religious beliefs, you got to show me in your holy book where Jesus is a homophobe, because he's not. And nobody follows the book of Leviticus. If you believe Leviticus, you have to stone gay people to death. And I don't know if the homophobes have noticed. The gay dudes have been working out. They're ready. Did you see the 300? Holy shit, those were some buff gay men right there.
I have to interject. I got to say, one of the funniest bits that Bill Maher ever did on New Rules was when he was going over the complete fallout of what happened with Ted Haggard. And he talks about the literal description within Leviticus when he says, working on Sunday, I really should kill him. And it's like, he delivered it so perfectly. And it's like,
even better.
Literally.
It's working on the Sabbath, and technically that's Saturday. So fuck you, NASCAR. And by the way, the same part of Leviticus that says that you have to stone gay men to death also says you have to stone people to death for adultery. And according to Old Testament law, that includes divorce and remarriage. So if you really believe the one part of the Bible that says being gay is wrong, my Judeo-Christian homophobic friends, you owe it to God to kill Donald Trump 2 times. Which you should not do.
But I had a friend in law school that he used to refer to himself. He's like, look, I'm a cafeteria Catholic. I pick what works for me.
Everyone does that.
Of course. I appreciated the self-awareness of him saying that, because that at least acknowledges that you're just doing it for whatever reason.
But that's also
no, but it's different. I'm so sorry, it's different because everyone does that. Everyone of every religion picks and chooses the parts of whatever their holy book is. The difference is some of us do it to be dicks. Some of us do it to justify cruelty. Some of us do it for convenience. Some of us do it because, look, spiritual people use religion to become better people. Fundamentalists use religion to pretend they're better people. And that's who has to be called out. And that's who Jesus called out. That's who Martin Luther King called out. That's who Gandhi called out. True, all those guys got murdered for it, but still, we got to keep on doing it. We got to keep on calling out the hypocrites, because we can't allow them to use a movement that was based on love and compassion and forgiveness to justify being cruel to marginalized people. And you look at Jesus, even if you don't believe the literal book, whatever, mythology, whatever you want to believe, who does he always stand up for? Whoever's on the bottom of the totem pole, whoever's being shit on. The lepers, prostitutes, the despised foreign minorities like the Samaritans, the tax collectors.
Yeah.
Mike Pence Christians shit on. The most marginalized, refugees, trans kids who want to use a bathroom they feel comfortable in, trans soldiers want to serve their country. They're always comedy, good political comedy, don't punch down. It's the same in religion. If you're punching down on someone weaker than you, you are literally the opposite of what Christianity is supposed to be.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.